Now here's an interesting banner. Listen to Brother Farron's judicial hearing online with our website on the bottom. You can read it. And what this is I recorded my whole disfellowshipping tape. And you can listen to it all if you go to this website, www.sixscreensofthewatchtower.com, and get onto screen 5 and hit fly on the wall. And not only did we get the original committee hearing taped with this little recorder, it's a digital recorder, we also got the appeals. So many people are getting in and listening to that, and you'll see exactly how the Jehovah's Witnesses treat you when you tell them that you no longer believe in the Watchtower. Well, everyone, I just wanted to let you know that you're probably wondering, what are 6 screens of the Watchtower anyways? What is that all about? Well, what you do is you had 100 years and 1,000 men that came up with so much foolishness and so much twisted doctrine. You say, well, how do you funnel it all down? How do you categorize it? How do you filter it? How do you bring it into some type of a compartment where you can analyze it? So what we did is we divided it up into 6 different screens that the Watchtower organization is hiding behind. And we'll discuss a couple of these screens. Right over here, this is screen number 1. The theological teachings are twisted. The theological twistings are not really biblical. As a matter of fact, what you're looking at right here, that is the winged disc. That is an idolatrous disc that actually was on the front cover of many of the early Watchtower publications. That is a symbol of idolatry. And then you have, if we move over here, that's on screen 1, all of their teachings. You see all of the older publications they have and all the twisted thoughts that came out of those. Over here, we have dark and tainted secrets of the Watchtower. Now, before we developed the website, we were running conferences. We were trying to bring everything together so people could understand it and see how we could break it all down. But if you get onto screen 2, there's where you find all the dark and tainted secrets of the Watchtower. And you've got, of course, the pyramid. Now, a lot of witnesses to this day have no idea that Charles Taze Russell is buried at this site, where there's a 9-foot, I believe it's a 9-foot pyramid. So that's something. And also, Charles Taze Russell used to teach that God lives right here, by the way, on Alcyon. You look up into the outer reaches of space, and he would say that's where God lives, out in the area of Alcyon. Now, also, I don't know if anyone caught this or not, we were talking about pedophilia. You've seen some of the banners we had on this and the child molestation, but it was on Dateline, it was on the Connie Chung show on CNN, and you know, the Watchtower is having a very hard time hiding behind all of this. Screen number 3, the occult connection. And of course, we learned about Johannes Griever earlier, but there's so many things that the Watchtower is hiding behind involved with the occult. For example, in the Revelation book, they actually claim that Brother Russell is actually speaking to them from beyond the grave, from heaven, so to speak. Friends, if thoughts are coming from heaven, from a dead person, that is necromancy. So these are things to consider, and these are some of the things that the Watchtower organization is hiding behind. Okay, now we just saw screen 3, the occult connection, and over here we have mental manipulation and mind control. Did you know that the Watchtower organization is a destructive cult? We've mentioned that a number of times, but they use all types of ways to get you to adhere to their ways of doing business. That is very confusing. They don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want any independent thinkers. They want you to listen to what they have to say, and if you don't go along with what they have to say, they want you to put it on the shelf. Over here, screen number 5, induced mental illness and elevated anxiety. You know, a lot of people don't know there's an actual book that's been written by a man by the name of Dr. Jerry Bergman. The name of the book is Jehovah's Witnesses and the Problems of Mental Health, Mental Illness. Did you know the Watchtower actually can create mental illness in people with some of this twisted thinking? And it's all fear. The Watchtower instills fear into people. In the process of doing that, they create a lot of guilt. They create all types of trouble. I mean, look at all of these things. I mean, even the word apostate, even though that's what they call us, but we're not apostates of Christ. We're only apostates of the Watchtower. We're not going along with what the Watchtower has to say anymore. And when you get disfellowshipped, you're done. You're spiritually dead. It's easy. In fact, we just talked to a man that's just coming into the Kingdom Hall here tonight, and he came up and talked to us. I guess this was his first visit, and he's seeming to like what's going on. He says all the people are nice, and they are, but I said they're love bombing you. I says the hallmark of a real cult is they're going to get you in very easy, but you can't leave. You can get in easy, but you can't leave. That's the hallmark of a cult. Over here, friends, screen number 6. It's only a business. It's really a business, that is the Watchtower organization, masquerading as a religion. They're a huge publishing company, probably one of the largest in the whole world. And the Watchtower makes tremendous amounts of revenue every year. In fact, they are one of the richest businesses in New York City. In fact, a few years back, they were in the top 40 top businesses in the city of New York. So these are all of the things that we've uncovered. There's many more. Every year you come up with new. But I just wanted to mention this to you. And this is something new that we've been doing. And it takes place on the 2nd and 4th Saturday for the most part of every month. And it's called the Jehovah's Witness Conference Call. And it's so easy to come in. You can talk to us on the telephone. We have guests come on. We have active Jehovah's Witnesses listening in. It's easy to get on the call. All you have to do is dial 712-432-8710. And when you get in, they're going to ask for a PIN 9925. That'll bring you into the conference, and you can talk with people live. It's a great way to talk to people that have been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower.
This man's name is Johannes Grieber. Johannes Grieber is an ex-Catholic priest turned spiritualist. Grieber, in the 1930s, wrote a book called Communication with the Spirit World of God, Its Laws and Its Purposes. He also wrote a very spiritualistic version of the Bible. You may ask, what does Johannes Grieber have to do with the Watchtower Society? Well, the Watchtower Society needed someone to corroborate their New World Translation. They found Johannes Grieber and his translation. His translation was able to corroborate a lot of the different Bible passages that they misinterpreted. He was quoted as agreeing with him in the Watchtower, 1962, in the Word brochure, Make Sure of All Things, 1965, and all these different references. In 1956, they mentioned that he was a spiritualist and said he was not a good association, but they quoted him as agreeing with their translation of the Bible. Later on, when someone was asked in the questions from readers in 1983, they said, we didn't know until the 1980s that Johannes Grieber was a spiritualist. Yet they wrote about it back in 1956. Also, if you read his book, you will see his doctrines. His doctrines of demons are the same exact doctrines that the Watchtower Society. So how can you have a spiritist agreeing with your doctrines, and you say that your doctrines are the true doctrines that Jesus approved of? You cannot. They are doctrines of demons here, and they are the doctrines of demons from the Watchtower.